Third down and 20.
I don't even know what we call this segment. Underrated and unwatched. Let's try that.
Or what about sleepers? All team sleepers.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is going to be one of our first draft segments. We're going to have a lot more draft segments coming up with the season closing down. But the first draft segment that we are going to do is me and Steed are both going to list 5 players that are just underrated, guys that we want to have on people's radars, but they're just not being talked about. They're not the really shiny prospects like the Trevor Lawrences and whatnot, but one from each position and then an extra one that we think, not that they're going to be insane, but guys that just could make an impact on a football team and just interesting prospects. I'm going to start with a guy that I've had my eye on for years now, and that's Sam Buchwele, former Texas quarterback, now SMU quarterback. He's a guy that great air raid quarterback. I've liked his game for a while now. He's almost like a Case Keenum to me, where he's a guy that doesn't have that really big arm. He doesn't really have the physical tools of an NFL player, but you talk about a guy that's just really good in his system. He obviously knows the system really well. He's had tons of success throwing the football. While he has some flaws, I just think that this is a guy that he's going to go later in the draft because he doesn't have the physical tools. But, for a team, I think that this guy could at least be a quality backup quarterback, and even like a Case Keenum, maybe find a way to start some games and almost Kirk Cousins his way into a starting role at some point. Not necessarily that he'll be a Russell Wilson, but a guy that I just find really interesting. And if I was a team that just needed depth at quarterback with a 4th or 5th round pick and he's on the board, I think I'd take the shot on him.
I mean, we sat down and watched some of his game. I like his game. SMU always had pretty potent offense. For my little sleeper quarterback guy is a guy from Memphis, Brady White. I've seen him play for the last couple years here at Memphis. He was a 3-year starter. And, Memphis is a pretty respected football team. They've had some great football teams. And I think he's been really like a main drive behind it is that, like what I've seen is he's able to – he can stretch the field. He puts the ball in a good place where the receiver can catch it. He's not going to leave anyone out for dead. It's just – and the problem with me for Brady White is that he's going to be old. By the time the rookie season starts from him, he's going to be 25 because he got redshirted at Arizona State, I'm pretty sure. I remember. But and also, like, I don't think he has the best arm, but, like, for a guy that, you don't have to excel at the deep pass to be a threat, like Matt Ryan has excelled at the intermediate passes, and he could be a guy like that. I mean, he's over, I think he's like 6'3", it says right here, in 210 pounds, so he's a little skinny. But, you get him, put some weight on him, I think he's a day 3 guy. But, if your team, like, we were talking like the Bears or something, and you want to like give Trubisky another shot just based off this last 4-game success, I mean, maybe you pick up a guy like Brady White, if there's no more tight ends on the board for you, and you get you see what he's got. I think he's kind of falls in that same boat, like probably not as better as Sam Boucher or like more recognizable name, but I think like, he could be an easy guy that, finds himself on a roster.
No, yeah, I haven't watched a ton of his game. I have watched a little bit of Memphis when actually kind of recently when I was watching Kenneth Gainwell. Not doing an analysis on the quarterback, but I mean, he makes some throws and they're a passing offense, so he's going to be an interesting guy. So my receiver, I'm going to have 2 receivers, one here and one on my flex. The first one is a guy from my school, South Carolina, Shi Smith. This is a guy that I don't think he's going to have that hype that Bryan Edwards and Deebo Samuel have. especially because he just didn't really have that production. Now, South Carolina right now is a dumpster fire. It is a complete mess of a program, and I think that that's just going to really hurt Shi Smith. The thing about Shi Smith, though, this guy has wheels.
Mhm.
He is a burner. I remember watching last season against Clemson, or maybe it was 2 seasons ago, I forget. He completely burned Isaiah Simmons, a guy that ran a 4.39 40 at the combine. I expect Shi Smith to run around that, if not faster. He's a guy that I have. He's going to the Senior Bowl this year. I have my magnifying glass on Shi Smith at the Senior Bowl. This is a guy. He's going to get some NFL looks due to his speed, and as if he's the kind of guy that you can get 4th round, 5th round, somewhere around there, he may go earlier just to his potential. He could be a really interesting prospect for the modern game in the NFL. And I think that South Carolina is a team that has done him no favors for his draft stock. And he's just a really interesting guy that I'm keeping my eye on during the process.
Yeah, I'm going to go receiver 2 here. Jalen Darden out of North Texas. When I was first looking at receivers, I like looking at these non-Power 5 conference, see if I can find one. Well, it turns out this guy was the Conference USA MVP from this season. I mean, you want to hear some crazy stats. North Texas played 9 games this year. This dude he caught 74 balls, almost had 1,200 yards, and had 19 touchdowns. So if we want to talk about a kid that can ball, he can ball. And the way I was looking at some of his tape, not tremendously into it. I mean, dude, this guy, I think he can run some damn routes. I think he can run about every damn route on the tree. The only thing I think hurts him going forward is that, he's a little small. He's 5'9", about buck 170. But I think legitly this guy could creep in day 2 and be a nice little slot guy for a team. I mean, these guys right here is just the production just speaks to me, really. I mean, that those numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a guy I haven't done many of the receivers yet. I've been getting through the running backs. He's a guy I definitely have my eye on. You're right. He's had incredible production. I believe he's also a returner and has had some decent returning success. So I've always been a guy that if I see a receiver or a running back as a kick returner, I give him a little extra check just because that they're able to make some space in open field. And it generally kind of translates to extra vision as well, just being able to read defenders' leverages and blocking leverages. So I'm going to move on to my running back, though. My running back, this is a guy that I know is rising up a little bit. He's not a completely unheard of guy, and it's Mohamed Ibrahim from Minnesota. This is a running back that was seen as mainly just a power back. Just give it to him up the middle, and he'll give you a couple of yards, 3, 4, 5 yards. But I watched some Minnesota games just hanging out, and while I haven't done my analysis on him, he's a guy that kind of just popped off the screen. A lot of really nice runs. I think he's a pretty polished runner. He's powerful. So I haven't done an analysis on him. It's coming soon, but he's a guy that after watching a couple of Minnesota games and seeing the success that he has behind that big ass O-line, I've just naturally had my eye on him. I've always been a fan of power backs that have good vision and are a little polished. So he's the kind of guy that, while I'm not sure he has the talent to be just that all-purpose back at the next level, probably not, most likely not. He's, I've found some guys like this before, guys like a Jay Ajayi who I was high on a while back in that Todd Gurley class. I thought he should have been a second-round pick. He ended up going the 5th round, and he was a steal. So Mohamed Ibrahim could be in a similar vein, a guy that people think, he just doesn't have that ceiling, but could be a productive football player on a power running team.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of go with the power back too. I got Caleb Huntley from Ball State. This guy, he's just like really beefy, like if you want to say that. He's 5'10", 230.
Oh man,
And
he's thick with an extra
yeah,
C.
yeah, this guy is huge, man. Like I'll tell you right now. I mean, but like I'm looking at his production. I've seen a couple Ball State games, especially this year, because there was like if there was any kind of football game I watched. But like, I mean, in 3 games he played this year, he had 430 yards with 6 touchdowns, and he's coming off 2 1,000-yard seasons from the seasons previous. I just think this guy could be a day 3, and if you need a power back, he's the kind of guy, because what I've seen from him is that he has really good patience and good vision of like on when to know to hit the hole and when the hole is going to open and really hit it going. Now, he's not going to catch the ball. I'm reading right here, like on his stats, he has 7 career catches. If you want him to be the do it all back, he's clearly not going to be that guy. But I mean, dude, like as a number 2, 3rd and 3, something you just need, or on the goal line, plug in Caleb Huntley. He's going to get you in there.
All right, I'm going to move into my tight end here. This is a guy that's going to go not early in the draft, but he's going to be a guy that NFL teams definitely have their eye on, at least in my opinion. And that's Charlie Kolar from Iowa State. So this is a guy that I saw when I started watching some Brock Purdy. Iowa State was a team that I kind of had circled because they have some good players on that team. And Charlie Kolar really stuck out to me. This is a giant tight end. I believe he's 6'7" or 6'8". And I'm pretty sure he's one of those classic basketball players. He was more of a basketball player, but converted to football player. And he is a beast. This is a guy that's just good at catching the football. He looks like an NFL tight end. Once again, I haven't done my analysis on tight ends. They're going to be the position group that I touch, but Charlie Kolar is a guy that I definitely have my eye on for some fantasy leagues. If he's the kind of guy that I can pick up very late in a draft or even undrafted, and I need a dart throw or I need a tight end in one of my leagues, Charlie Kolar, I think, could be a great value grab depending on what team he goes to, because he looks like the kind of guy that give him a season or two to develop in the NFL. He's got all the potential in the world. So I would not be terribly surprised if this guy goes like late day 2 or really early day. Yeah, probably like somewhere on day 2, I'd say.
All right. My tight end, I got to go with my home dog, Quentin Morris from Bowling Green.
My home dog.
My home dog just figured out about him 3 days ago. But yeah, dude, I was doing a little research on him. Like this is the first year he moved to tight end. He was a receiver, and he's just very athletic, and he's 6'4", 250, and like he's not going to be like your traditional tight end, like really, help you on the block or be kind of like your Kittle kind of guy. But, as a receiving tight end, I think he has the capability. If you're a receiver changing a tight end, you've got the athleticism right there in your pocket. So I think he'd be interesting and like maybe like as a day 3. And he's going to improve in the blocking game, I'm sure, because it's still relatively new to him. But he could be an interesting project though if he makes out. And see what happens with old Quentin Morris.
All right,
he'd be a great pass catcher.
Yeah, you're right. He's definitely a guy that would probably go day 3 or undrafted. If you want a project kind of tight end, if he does have those skills or the athletic ability and you want to take the time to develop him, he's definitely a developmental guy. But my last guy is going to be Warren Jackson from Colorado State. If you're big into college football or like Devy for Dynasty, you've probably heard of this guy already. He goes to Colorado State. That's the same school with Michael Gallup. He put up in both of their junior seasons, because he sat out this year. They put up similar numbers. Michael Gallup had 1 less catch, but he had about 100 more yards and like 6 more touchdowns. But Warren Jackson is 6'6", 220, and I'm pretty sure he's relatively fast. He's the kind of guy that I've been saying for a while to a bunch of my buddies. I would watch out for this guy at the combine, because if he has the potential to knock the combine out of the park. B, if he does that, I can see this guy going second round, early third round, because, dude, a 6'6", 220 receiver, if he runs a 4.5, let's say, man, like there are not that many guys that have that kind of athletic. And he didn't get to play his senior season, so we don't get to see the tape on him, but he's a guy that I've had circled for a little bit. I'm not usually a huge fan of circling guys just for the athleticism, but my God, like he has crazy athletic potential that you just have to circle.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another kind of guy like that who I think he's just going to test very well at the combine. And I'm going to try to say his name is Josh Imatorbhebhe. I think that's how you say it. Or is it Behihi? I don't know. But he's from Illinois. And he's 6'2", 215, but I was doing a little research on him. He did a vertical jump back in 2015. And he marked in at 47.1 inches.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so, like, I mean, we're already thinking this guy's going to easily clear the 40-inch mark in the combine this year. So, which puts him, like, will put him at the top of his class easily.
Just for reference, I'm pretty sure that LeBron has, like...
LeBron has what?
I'm pretty sure LeBron has, like, a 44-inch vertical.
All right, so this guy can dunk.
Yeah, this guy can get up. Holy
this guy,
crap.
I mean, like, he's just you see him on tape, like, he just, like, he has great acceleration, and, you know, he's got a nice frame, and it looks like from the couple plays I've seen from it, he has a nice little catching radius, but, you know, out of all these, like, physical, like, good athletic specimens, you run into the little bit of problems, like, well, they can't really run this route. It's just kind of the catching whole thing. But I'm telling you, this guy, I mean, he has the name for it. It's like he's going to test well at the combine. He's going to open up some people's eyes.
Yeah, I just looked it up. LeBron has, like, it says on Google, somewhere north of 40 inches. So somewhere between, like, 41 to 44 to 45 inches. 47 is absurd.
That was back in 2015 too, when he was in high school.
If he does that at the combine, that might be a combine. I don't know what the record is at the combine, but that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm about to look that up. NFL Combine vert record.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, it was set back in 2005 from Gerald Sensabaugh. Safety out of North Carolina. He got 46 inches.
So he's got a shot here. He's got a good shot to
he's got a shot. And I mean, like, if he tests well, I mean, even if, like, his tape is not, like, electric, and you got to understand he plays at Illinois, but, you know, like, those numbers alone could easily get him in the 5th round or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he has a great combine, and so a coach just likes his potential, who knows where he can go. So he's definitely a guy. Yeah, you're going to have to send me. I'm not sure I have him on my scouting doc. So you're going to have to send me his name so I can add him on there and look at his tape.